Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about what I am hoping they'll do with Luke Skywalker and the Rise of Skywalker. Now, you guys know, if you see my channel, view my channel within the past year alone at the very least, that I've mentioned multiple times that Luke Skywalker is my favorite Jedi in general. In the original trilogy, he was this. Yeah, we got introduced to him as this whiny teenager at first, but he was also hopeful. He was hopeful. He helped blow up the first Death Star. He preserved the Jedi Order, and he turned a Sith back to the light side of the Force so he can fulfill the Jedi prophecy and bring balance to the Force. And so yeah, and Luke Skywalker is my favorite Jedi because of those things, because he kind of represented hope, and that you might wish for something big, but you can come from nothing and make something of yourself, and you just gotta remain, you gotta have hope in your life and stuff like that, and even though somebody is does bad things, it doesn't exactly make them a bad person. That you can be the catalyst of that person turning back or being good, if that makes sense. Kind of like how Luke Skywalker showed his father that there was still good in him. So in the Force Awakens, when I saw that he was gone and the plot was finding Luke Skywalker, I said he will have to have a pretty good reason for remaining in hiding for all this time, practically. And the Last Jedi's reasoning was stupid. Oh, because I sensed my nephew was turned to the dark side, and I feel bad for that, for almost killing my own nephew for sensing the darkness in him, and stuff like that. So, yeah, and they kind of took the Luke Skywalker we knew and threw it up on him. The hopeful Luke Skywalker that we met in the original trilogy is not the same as Luke Skywalker that we got in the sequel trilogy. We've got a grumpy old whiny Luke, and as much as I always said, I could have easily overlooked this if they had Luke living and kept him around in episode 9, which my main issue with Luke in The Last Jedi is how he died. Because I felt like Luke Skywalker deserved a more badass death, and that was like a letdown, if any. I'm going to force protect myself, but that's going to take a lot out of me. I'm gonna die. That didn't feel like the type of death Luke deserved, though. And that was my biggest issue with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Now, granted that we're going to see Luke Skywalker again in The Rise of Skywalker, but as a Force Ghost. And here is some of my hopes for Luke Skywalker in The Rise of Skywalker. Them having him acknowledge that he didn't make the right call on being absent from the galaxy for as long as he did, that he sort of came sooner and he regret not coming back into the fight sooner, because if he, having us see that, yeah, he regrets being in isolation from the galaxy for that long, that maybe if he came back sooner, maybe things wouldn't have gotten this bad, that pretty much there wouldn't have been no need for Rey to really being the last Jedi, per se, if you get my meaning. And he always have that guilt of being in isolation and not doing anything when he could have and should have done something on his mind. That's the type of Luke that I would like to see. Like, yeah, Cam keep the hopeful Luke that we knew, but it kind of showed the regret of him hiding for as long as he did. Regret that he was a jerk to Rey in The Last Jedi. Admitting that he was wrong in hiding and he should have continued. Like Yoda wanted him to. And maybe some way, since they like to make Rey as a centerpiece of the Mary Sue, like this girl, this character with no wrongdoings, no weakness or whatever, maybe have it pass off like Rey was one of the reasons, like one of the two beings that knocked some sense into him, which is why he came when he did in The Last Jedi, towards the end. Of course, Yoda being the other, but Rey being one of the two beings that knocked some senses to him about turning back into the fight. I don't know. Since, like, and I'm only bringing Rey into this because Disney wants to make her this all-powerful being, plus that would kind of, I'm not saying that would be the best idea, it just will be a pretty decent, I guess, playthrough with Luke connecting, like, the old with the new, kind of felt, I don't know. Just, my hope with, like, my literal hope with Luke is we see some sort of regret from him not coming back into the fight as soon as he should have. And have him pretty much, in a way, retconning like 90% of what we've seen of Luke in The Last Jedi, and see him being the hopeful Jedi that we've seen. And so, telling Rey, yeah, look, I apologize I didn't really show you much, teach you much in the ways of a Jedi as I could have. And maybe that's how they can have Leia be Rey's teacher, saying, but Leia and I has been talking, and we both agree that Leia, since I'm no longer here in the physical world, that Leia would teach you some tricks in the ways of the Jedi. Since I have taught her before I decided to go put myself in that self-exile, me and Leia both agree that she would be your Jedi Master. I mean, that could be a pretty decent way with what we have, with having Leia being Rey's teacher, because I have heard rumors that Rey is going to get a new Jedi Master, and it's going to be Leia. How they're going to use Leia, like, in terms of pulling her off pretty good, in that sense, it is going to be, I'm wondering, because Leia in, I've heard they're going to reuse scenes from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. Some scenes we may have seen, but are just retouched and refurnished and whatnot, and some deleted scenes as well. So I'm not saying that they can't pull this off, but they might as well. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anyone, but they might as well just say, hey, we're going to make Leia CGI. Kind of like how we did her and Tarkin in Rogue One. Like, that's the route that they might as well use to make it somewhat work. But maybe I'm being too critical. I already have my ticket for the Last Jedi, so I don't know. But yeah, that's my hopes for Luke Skywalker. Will they go with any of those hopes? I mean, any of my hopes? I hope so. I mean, The Last Jedi, from what I've heard, is supposed to wrap up the previous 8 Star Wars movies. For argument's sake, I'm going to say 9, because I'm going to throw Rogue One in here. Not counting, that horrible holiday special. But they're going to wrap 9 Star Wars movies up with this, I guess, 10th installment, if I'm going to use that logic. Yeah, they have, like, like, a lot of things to do. Because like I always said, I don't exactly hate The Last Jedi, as a lot of fans do. Or some fans do. But I'm not in love with it as others do. I do like a few aspects of The Last Jedi, but I don't think it was the best Star Wars movie. I don't think it's the worst Star Wars movie, because in my opinion, the worst Star Wars movie is, and always will be, unless if they really screw up Star Wars with Episode 9, is the holiday special. But it's like second or third for me, because I am incorporating Solo, and I don't know which one I'm displeased more with, Solo or The Last Jedi. But I, I'm, so yeah, I'm just hoping they'll do Luke Skywalker justice in Episode 9. I know he's not going to have a big role, but regardless if his role is going to be big or not, same with Leia, same with Lando, same with 3PO, same with R2, same with Darth Sidious, even though I'm still mad that bring Darth Sidious back, that they'll do Luke Skywalker justice. Since they kind of did do an injustice with him in The Last Jedi. With, yes, I'm Garment, with the grumpy old Luke part, which I would be okay. I was partially okay since we got one last Star Wars movie after The Last Jedi, where we could have seen Luke Skywalker referred back. And maybe, hopefully we'll see Luke Skywalker refer back to his old ways of being, like, hopeful person. Yes, with some, like I said earlier, with some regrets of not joining joining back in the fight against the First Order like he should have, like sooner, and stuff like that. And Luke Skywalker's my favorite Jedi. And it's sad that Mark Hamill had to dissociate this version of Luke Skywalker, as in, I'd like a different role, because it's just sad, and it's sad that George Lucas not even really fully backing Lucasfilms up with how they're spewing out spewing out Star Wars movies. But I said everything I need to say about my hopes for Luke Skywalker, and I even added how they could incorporate Leia into being raised Jedi Master and stuff like that. So what do you guys hope for Luke Skywalker, or any character, for that matter, in The Rise of Skywalker? Since we're, like, only a month away from from having The Rise of Skywalker hitting theaters, leave a comment below, and may the Force be with us all.